at that.
Yeah,
Unhit mute at the same time, brother, man. That's synchronicity for ya. What's going on, brother?
doing good, brother. It's an amazing day today, Thursday, and loved yesterday's episode with Dean and everyone. So, how was it with I caught the rest of the episode on Tuesday, with Glenn. Oh man,
Oh,
I got one funny thing I gotta rib you on a little bit. So I'm watching it, and I had to leave for an appointment. So I'm watching it, and
yeah.
then you say that, hey, we got to wrap up, right? We got to wrap up and things like that. And then I'm looking at the play of the video. I'm like, but wait a minute, there's 15 more minutes here. And I was like, wait a minute, that's like typical dad. And then the conversation was awesome, man. What were your thoughts on Glenn, the
It
book?
was, well, because he was just like, I got kind of 45 minutes, so I'm paying attention to time, and I'm like, we got to wrap up. And then he would say something, and then I would say something, and I'm kind of like looking at the private chat, and he's like, I'm good for another 10 if you want to keep going. I'm like, yeah. So it was just like this back and forth that was just so cool.
Yeah.
His book is I think some of the strategies are absolutely killer. And I think some are a little tough to apply, like in our world.
Yeah.
Like if you're a territory salesperson, being in front of every prospect is essential. In our world, we're up in Canada and we're calling all across the US.
Yeah.
So to physically be in their lobby is near to impossible unless you're a traveling salesperson, right? So we went through a few of those. When we have him back, he's going to talk about kind of more strategies along our lines where it's not in person, kind of, some pretty cool strategies when you're doing video conferencing and interviews. And so we're excited. We already actually planned the date. It's in my calendar. It's in our promotional calendar. Can't wait to have him back because we barely scratched up to the 4th chapter.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's a good book for everybody watching out there. Maybe we'll put the link and stuff like that. But yeah, you know what? Funny enough, I did the when I was at Toastmasters last night. I did with new people coming in and stuff like that. I did the watch weekend and problem thing that he talked about, that strategy, and it worked like a charm, man. I love it, man. I think it's such. I actually did it at the appointment that I had to go to leave on that Tuesday to go do it. So shout out to everybody. Just these little nuggets. Doesn't matter. I love what this, Dan, is just like, sales is sales at the end of the day. And one of my videos has nothing to do with what we do in logistics, but sales is sales at the end of the day. So looking forward to seeing other people and bringing other people on too, like other amazing authors, people in like different industries, and kind of getting something, because like you said, there was certain things that you picked up on that is transferable to logistics, but then there's certain things that aren't. But with that being said, there's always going to be a lesson there, right? So
yes. And you know what, it's as you speak more and more to these people, you realize what's marketing and what's sales.
Yeah.
And I think there's a very distinct line that we all blur, right? And even myself. So like after the call for the last 2 days, I've been studying this book, The One-Page Marketing Plan. Mm-hmm. And I've been studying this book, Magnetic Marketing by Dan Kennedy, one of the greatest marketers on the planet. And I'm actually reached out to both of them to see if we can have them on the show because I'd love to, take the next couple of weeks as we head into, 4th quarter. Most of the industry is saying there's not going to be a peak season. So how do we utilize this next part of the year? If we're not where we want to be right now, how do we utilize it so we can come out in January like just gangbusters?
Yeah.
So part of me is really deciphering this marketing versus sales, and we talked about it on our owners call on Monday about that. Damon was talking about the marketing side of Bridger, and I think it'd be a really cool idea to bring the audience through how we're setting up our marketing, what we're thinking going through it, because I truly believe as a logistics salesperson, marketing yourself is a key in having those barriers knocked down. Like, so for example, we've talked about it a lot, and I know we're going to get into some pretty cool videos today about it, but the idea that, every post could be a marketing opportunity for you. But how are you thinking through the post? How are you thinking through your marketing plan? And it's something that I'm super excited to get you guys all involved in. And I should have actually brought you the copies of these books when we met, because I'd like you and I to keep reading on the same page. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But anyways, that's just kind of where my head was going right after Glenn was on. Really starting to look at, because even when I asked him a question, he says, well, that's more of marketing than sales. And I was like, that's interesting. My lines are even blurred, right?
Mm.
It's like, where does that line get set where you can, because it is a different hat. Like a lot of, see, and this is the one big thing that every book you read or everyone you speak to that's a marketer, they're like, salespeople are usually horrible at marketing because they don't understand that differentiating factor. Where marketing people, once they start marketing and if they go into sales, they become really good salespeople because they understand where marketing stops and sales begins. And I just think it would be a cool thing for us to explore and even test strategies for all of you out there that help you market yourself as a logistics resource for companies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because like we even with like sales and marketing itself, I've seen even at like Durham College, which is a couple is one of the notarized colleges out here in Durham. They've actually combined that a little bit. They've combined like sales and marketing courses because I was there a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, I was there like doing some work with a good friend, and I was looking at the course outline and the course calendars and all that stuff, and they've combined that into one. So keeping that little bit of a separation, I feel like sales to me, I kind of bear down. It's like, okay, sales is me getting the paycheck and marketing is everything leading up to me getting that paycheck, right? So I kind of keep
Oh,
it simple for
that's
myself in
good.
terms, so it's like the social posts that we make, or like even
Mm.
like even the show itself, right? Like we're not actively selling something, but hey, if somebody is logistics rep out there and they're looking to change their life with the CRM that they're not using, then we would like to have a discussion. So everything I think is there is that fine line, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. So it's good. I love that you have that takeaway, and to the audience, that's a testament to us, in terms of we're not just staying stagnant. Other shows, not to throw any shade, but I will throw some shade. They're talking about the same things over and over again. So
Mm.
there's only so many times you can talk about controlling the controllables, and
Yeah,
doing work
yeah,
from the inside out and all that stuff.
yeah.
But with that being said, we're leveling up. We're on an educational journey, just like with you. And
Yep.
that's where I see the journey is, like every single day, especially on Fridays too, with like the book club and all that fun stuff. So I'm excited, man. This is really,
Yeah.
really cool. It's like you said, it's really that. I think I told you on Monday, I texted you on Monday. It was it's 3 months until Christmas Day, right? So I kept on been harping about Christmas, 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 man. So the year is gonna fly by as we know it.
It is.
Here's a crazy stat for you, Dan.
Okay.
When January 1st hits, 2024, we're gonna be 5 years removed from COVID. And we all feel like COVID was like yesterday, so it's
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah, my man.
Because no, 5 years from when it started.
From the started, yeah, not when it ended.
Okay,
Not
okay,
when it ended.
okay. I
Yeah,
was
from
gonna
the
say
start,
because
yeah.
I thought it just like I'm pretty sure it's back now or something
Yeah, it's
because like
back, man.
now
People are
there's all
testing
this.
positive and stuff like that. I saw some
Yeah,
like some sports athletes actually testing positive, and they have had to miss it. So everybody teach their own, but stay safe, be out there.
yeah.
I'm personally masking up again, just because I remember like like I don't know, I'm walking through the groceries, I'm walking through the mall, I'm hearing everybody like hacking and coughing. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna wear the mask, just because it's just like I don't have to wear my makeup anymore. Not that I do, but
Ryan, Ryan, I can't tell you how many looks I get because, well, as you know, because I had lunch with you the other day,
yeah.
I'm still hacking and coughing and like my food doesn't go down all the time, every time. And the looks I get from people almost wanting to move seats beside me is
I'm
incredible
not
at
gonna lie.
restaurants
Had
and
I
stuff.
not known you, brother, I'd probably be the same way too, man. I was like, all right, Brandon, let me make sure. Like, do I need to
Yeah.
know the Heimlich like maneuver, like the CPR or something? But
Well, it's
hey,
very
man,
nice of you to get me water. You just seeing that I was
I
close
saw it,
eventually,
man. I
you
was like,
got up
oh,
and
yo,
got
we
me
gotta
more
get you some
water.
more water.
Yeah, that was very nice. But it. What am I gonna give him the Heimlich? It's true. It's so bad. Like even just sneezing in a store, I feel like I have to say sorry to everybody. And it's almost like, and I know this show isn't about this, but it's almost like I feel like I have to look at people and go, listen, I apologize. I'm not sick. I had throat cancer. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like I gotta justify why I'm
Just wear a
hacking
shirt,
and
get a shirt, get a shirt or a hat, like just like yeah, exactly. Just point to the shirt,
Just go
and then
around
go
like
from there.
this in a restaurant before you
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
down, right? Yeah,
You might
yeah.
get some VIP treatment, my man.
Hey, you know what, brother? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been tempted to pull the C card a couple of times when like you're waiting in line or doing something, and I'm like, nah, forget it. The only time I've ever pulled the C card is when I was in the waiting room at the hospital,
Well,
and I'm
that's
looking
a pretty
around me,
good
and
place to do it.
well, yeah, I mean, my immune system is shot to hell. I'm like masked up, gloved up. I look like I'm about to go out into an Afghan war or something, and and I don't mean that in any ill way, like just wrapped up. And I can't believe I just said that.
You just
Whatever.
pulled by the way, you pulled what is it, the guy who resigned yesterday? Did you hear about that whole like controversy in Canada about the war criminal guy?
No.
Oh, brother.
What?
Okay, so I got some funny news for you.
Okay.
So last week, in the house, for everybody who's watching, like this made international news. So at the House of Commons, which is our big parliament thing, the Prime Minister of what is he, or the President of Ukraine? Wait, he wants more
Vladimir.
money. Yeah, he wants more money, right? Anyways, my thoughts are there. Anyways, so they brought him into there, and then they introduced a war veteran from World War II. This old guy, I forget his name. He was in his 90s, and everybody got up, they clapped. Everyone was like, "Yeah, thank you for everything." And then basically, it was found out that he actually fought with the Nazis in World War II. Like he was a Nazi, is a Nazi.
How did they not scream this guy before he came?
So the head speaker of the House of Commons yesterday actually resigned because like they've been getting, this has made international news. Justin Trudeau is like, how do you let a Nazi into the thing? And here's the thing, like if I was him and I knew I was a Nazi, like I wouldn't like accept this. Here's what's actually happening now, Dan. Poland like is actually putting in a case to extradite him to Poland to try him and have him locked up for the rest of his years. So think about that, right? That 180, he could have just stayed quiet. I'm pretty sure he probably has dementia. He's like 95. So, but his family should have knew better, right? But yeah. Canada should have knew better. He should knew better. But yeah, that was messed up, man. Like that's.
Why is it that we always, I don't know, we always get this. It's like every time you see somebody on the news from Canada, it's like somebody from the far north that has one tooth and is uneducated. And it's like, we just, you know what I mean? I don't get it. Anyways, whatever. I mean, you know what? It's my small town. I remember a customer calling me from Texas saying, "You live in this small town, right?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "What's up with your mayor? He shot his daughter." So like one of our old mayors was like totally hammered, and he was in a fight with his wife, and a gun was pulled, and he shot, and the bullet ricocheted and hit his daughter. And the guy leaves the house, goes on, like he's totally hammered, goes on this massive spree where like OPP are chasing him. He's in this huge car chase and finally gets arrested. And he's an old mayor of our town. Right. And it's like people in Texas heard about it. I'm like, you don't hear about anything.
I didn't even hear about this. Yeah, so I guess Lou,
it was a couple of years ago. I was like, yeah, Lou, how did you know that?
I just literally Googled it. I just had to. I've never heard of this. I've truly never heard of this. But
yeah, it was a whole big fiasco. And I'm like, you know what? We got one postal code or one zip code for all of you in the US. In our town, we got like 15,000 people. And there's this news all across North America about this mayor that shot his daughter. You know what I mean? And I'm like, come on, guys. Anyways, you know where I'm coming from, brother. So
100%, brother. So what are we getting into today? This is Personal Development Day. We got some really cool videos for everybody who's new watching here. What we do is that we pick 2 videos, preferably shorts, to keep them under a minute, and then we give our reaction to them, and then we love to hear the audience what you guys kind of think about these videos.
All right. Number 1, you want to go for it?
Let's go for it, man. Just let it rip.
Okay. Come give you a quick price.
Sure. Yeah.
For both homes?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, cool. Hey, sir. Instead of just doing $299, call it $249, $249 for the entire thing, top to bottom. Have a really awesome reputation on the street. Okay. Every square inch.
That including the lobsters?
Everything top to bottom.
You guys are doing today, or?
We'd probably be over in the next few hours or so. We're just on a couple of job sites right now.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. My name is Josh, as I said.
Okay.
We'll have the crew over in the next couple hours or so.
Okay, though.
See you later on,
Yeah.
sir. Keep rocking those slippers.
Okay, so context. I want to give everybody context here.
Yeah.
When you go on LinkedIn, when you go on any of these social profiles, you see like the doom and gloom. Even with other like shows and things like that. Like you said, it might not be heavy in our next quarter and stuff like that. And I saw this video and I thought to myself, sales and marketing and two things. Like this guy is like literally working door to door. I wanted to kind of show like that aspect of you can get whatever you want in life. You just really have to work at it and actually go from door to like he's a door. So context, that young gentleman, he sells they clean windows, and then he had a little testimonial after the fact of how he does the sales. So he actually doesn't have the crew like at the end where he says like we'll be here in a day or something like that. He actually doesn't have a crew. It's really him, and I think it's his brother who does it. But what he does is that he canvasses, so he handles like the sales and marketing. So in that video you'll see that normally they charge $299 per house, and both houses like neighbors are owned by the same person. So he's like, what, I'll do $249, so $50 off, right? And then secondly, he said, we have a very good reputation in here. And I believe that face-to-face sales, I know Glenn can maybe attest to this a little bit, but when you get to that face-to-face and build that emotion with somebody, it's hard to say no to somebody. Like even for me, like when somebody knocks on my door, even if I don't want it, it's very hard for me personally, because human nature is that you don't want to disappoint somebody. So when I look at something like this, I'm like, okay, how is it transferable into logistics sales? Well, I look at it. If you're going to look at price, provide that value. If you have that credibility, show that credibility. And that customer wanted that, just wanted that expectation. Hey, and my windows are going to get cleaned today, or are they going to clean tomorrow? He eased those that inquiry about that customer, saying, hey, we'll be here in a couple hours. Realistically, they're probably going to roll up in an hour. Right. And then another part that they didn't talk about is like, okay, once the job is done, he's going to go to the next neighbor and be like, hey, John, at your next door neighbor, John just got his windows cleaned, and then get that referral basis from there. So couple key contexts that I really saw there that are very transferable. And it, like I said, I thought it was like I see a bunch of these videos on TikTok, like whether it be lawn mowing or like things like that. So for everybody,
driveway painting,
or even like
tarring of the driveway.
Yeah, and pressure washing. So there's such for everybody's thinking like, like we're such in a down market. There's different things like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to like put food on the table or different things like that. Just understand, man, like, the day starts with hustle and it ends with hustle, right? So if you're going to get it, go after it, right? So those were kind of like setting up for why I really like this video. But what are your thoughts? Might have been a little bit confusing without the context.
It was, but now that you put it into context, it was like, okay, now I get it, right? Because we just actually went through this. We came home 2 weeks ago or whatever, and our neighbor was getting his driveway sprayed. And I was on the phone when I pulled in the driveway, so I'm sitting there for about 2 or 3 minutes on the phone. And you can tell when there's somebody lurking.
Yes.
So there was this guy, I guess, I don't know if lurking's the right word, but you know what I mean, kind of hovering. And so I get out of the car. He goes, hey, man, how you doing? I said, good, man. How are you? He says, good. He says, listen, we're just painting your neighbor's driveway. And I'm like, well, here's your sign. I could see that. And he says, so wondering if you want your driveway done. I said, what are you thinking for price? He says, $350. I said, or he said $300. I said, $200 and you got a deal. And he's like, $200. I said, well, yeah, you're already here. And he goes, yeah, good call. Okay, $200. So I know my neighbor paid $3. I paid $2. And then my neighbor across the street got it done. I don't know what he paid. And these guys literally, they cleaned my driveway, cleaned all the weeds out of the driveway and sprayed it. And they were in and gone 6 minutes, 7 minutes, maybe
$1,000 a day, maybe possibly minimum. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? Here's the thing, right? They had the material mixed already in the truck. So it's like, and again, this relates back to logistics a lot. You saw this guy where he had one house was $299, two houses was $249. He's already there. He's already spent the gas to get there with him and his crew or his brother or whatever. He's already got the products in the truck. So it's not like he's unloading, reloading the truck. Everything's there ready. He may as well give a deal for 2 or 3 homes. Yeah. And even if he knocks $50 and you'd say, well, it's $150 less for the 3 homes, call it, right? $50 a home, he does 3 homes, but he's already there. So it's like to whip 1, 2, and 3 off, and then the neighbors are going to say, "Hey, that's really nice. I like the way your windows look," and it continues. So for you in logistics, you do one load, it's $1,500. If the guy says, "Well, I do load Monday, Wednesday, Friday," you say, "Well, I'll give you $1,400 if you give me Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or $1,450 if you give me Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I can strike a better deal with my supplier and make it dedicated." That's not price selling. That's negotiating to get more business. So instead of making $300 a load on one load, you're making $250 on 3 loads. Your value's higher and the return is higher, right? So I think that's a very valid video to put out on a Thursday for sure.
There we go, pal. All right, pal. Let's get to your video. Let's see what's going on here.
Probably nobody knows he's very poor, but we'll take his advice anyway.
I told my boss, David Shaw, that I was going to do this thing. He went on a long walk with him in Central Park, and he said, finally, after a lot of listening, he said, "You know what, Jeff, this is a really good idea. I think you're onto a good idea here, but this would be a better idea for somebody who didn't already have a good job." Right. And that actually made so much sense to me that he convinced me to think about it for 2 days before making a final decision. And that was and it's one of those decisions I made with my heart and not my head. And I basically said, I don't want to regret. When I'm 80, now 90, I want to have minimized the number of regrets that I have in my life. And most of our regrets are acts of omission. They're things we didn't try. It's the path untraveled.
Yeah. So for me, forget about it. Tell me what you think of that, Ron.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. There's a lot of power in regret, and I see it quite a bit. I've read a lot of studies are out there, where they're asking, like, people are asking people on their deathbed what their top regrets are, and a lot of it comes back is like, I wish I did this. I wish I didn't listen to this. And Hermosi said this on a video. He was like, the queen was one of the most powerful women in the world. She owned different things. She dominated in her life. And up until this point, you didn't think about her, in terms of like, she's died and like, obviously Charles is like taking over, but you haven't thought about the queen. So that means the relation is that do whatever you want because no one's going to remember anyways and nobody cares. Right. So if anybody gives you that doubt, I'm blessed. And I think a lot of people are blessed too with a partner who doesn't like kind of say, hey, when I bring up an idea, say no. The only time she's ever told me no is when I said I want to open up an ice cream shop. But that's coming. That's going to come. That's going to come with the dog rescue and all that stuff. But
now, did she say no because of your health?
No, she was like, really, Ryan?
If I had an ice cream shop, I think 60% of the profits would be eaten.
Oh, 100%, brother. I would be like 99%. I'd be like, she'd ask me how many customers came in today. One, and you're looking at him. He gave a 5-star review.
And he was a big customer. He was a big customer.
He's, oh man, we got to reload. But coming back to it, I think regret is one of the biggest things. I've been watching a lot of like law of attraction, like videos and things like that, manifesting for me kind of looks like, envision the life that you want to do, kind of put it out into the universe because the universe will bless you for there. But anybody's out there, like, look, this is Jeff Bezos. This is Amazon. Everyone thinks of them as being the big giant now. But imagine when they were like at the beginning, at the infancy stages,
in his garage.
Like in the garage and different things. So understand that, try whatever you got to try. If you are a salaried sales rep and you feel like, this is not cut out for me. I really do want more money in my pocket. I want to be my own boss. I'm not liking the sales meetings every week. Take that bet on yourself. Go to an agent or go start something. And anybody around the world, I say that, our industry, just one last tip before we go into the next thing. Funny enough, so when I went to the appointment, I went to the bank and I was talking to the bank manager. We had a great hour meeting and he was getting my account set up and things like that. And he was asking me, okay, what is this for? And realistically, I told him it was me being a content creator, like getting brand deals and things like that, like getting sponsorships and so that with my other channel. And he's like, the world is such a cool place now. That you can literally go. He says he's had kids who are like in their 20s, millionaires, come in just to like get their banking set up. And, it's not your old mom and pop. So regret, like you just don't want that because that what if. And Dan, as much as I say that, I am a fan of like not doing regrets, Like I said, I used to teach salsa for like 4 or 5 years. I went to a salsa party last Friday with a good friend of mine. And once I was there and I got that first dance, I really regretted that I haven't done this since like COVID. So even for me, I'm like, I need to get back into this, like being in shape again, the fun of being around you. So anybody out there, whether it be a hobby, whether it be a career, even if it's like a recipe that you see and you want to go try it, go do it. Don't just have it saved on your favorites and you'll never see that again because you get that dopamine drip. But I love it. I know I'm rambling on here again, but I'd love to
You're
get
not
your thoughts, brother.
rambling, brother. You're hitting every single nail on the head. You just built a house in 30 seconds. I tell you, that no regret, that the fear that comes with trying new things a lot of the time. I mean, once you do it, it's like, how did I not do this before?
Yeah.
And, even with sales, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I was like, no, I can't say that. Like, I can't say that. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's why can't you go to the sales meeting in a t-shirt and jeans? Why can't you? Like, I've never understood this, and some professionals even now will probably say, Dan, come on, man, you have to. Why? Like I've said to you many times before, does me being in a t-shirt standing on stage change the information I'm going to give you? No, it's just as powerful. And I just look at this idea of regret, and whether it be places you want to visit, things you want to do, experiences you want to have, trials in your business that you want to try. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to do that. Maybe I want to post this very, personal message, but you're afraid, I say go for it. Go for everything, because you never know what's going to click, and you never know what's going to turn the next page of your legacy.
Yeah.
Right. And that's key, like key to your life. And it might not be where it's, you make this decision and it's like all of a sudden you have an Amazon of the world. But I'm telling you, people pay attention. I now have lost track of how many salespeople have benefited from the information I've put out there.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I love hearing them. And when I hear salespeople sell, or I hear them talk, and it's like interesting. And it's amazing. And you know what, Ryan? This is something that I told myself for eons. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. When I get here, I'm going to do this. When I do this, I'm going to do that. And when I got there, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And it's something that cancer really taught me, was there's no more fucking around. Like, I'm all in. There really
is, brother. Life is short, man. And
it is.
Dan, I saw this, and this is a video I'll play next week, but think about this, and I want the audience to think about this as well. Nothing puts your life into more perspective than being in a VIP, like that first row of like a funeral. Right. And I saw that video, and I've never been a VIP. Like, I've never had that first row, because knock on wood, like I haven't had that. But then I just thought about that, right? Like, you're in the first row, you're watching somebody who obviously meant something to you because you're in the first row, right? And just thinking that perspective of, I wish I did this, I wish I called them more. I wish I spent more time with them. I wish that, if my mom is asking me to like go do something at her house, which is 5 minutes away, that I'm not like brushing it off, because it's just like, it'll probably take me 30 minutes to do it, and knowing that she wouldn't be able to do it herself. But, I think with everybody, like, cherish your relationships. I love like this video when it comes to business. And Dan, kudos to you for like losing track of people who've taken that knowledge from you that you've shared, because, the best thing that you can do is share education, right? That's the only thing that lasts. You and I have talked about this a lot. Like, a lot of these self-help books, a lot of these sales books are just the same stuff from like going back to like what's his name? The Greek guy, I forget his name.
Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius. Just kind of his thoughts. Even like everybody's still like bigging up Dale Carnegie. That book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, was like written like centuries ago, right?
Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
There we go.
James Allen. Any one of James Allen's books. Like these things are linchpins in
Nice.
personal and professional growth. Like you literally can take one of those books and just study that and get everything you've ever wanted in life.
It's amazing kind of see.
Literally.
So these videos have been awesome. I know we're gonna wrap it up. I'm
buddy.
one thing I'm really looking forward to is are you gonna be catching like the click funnels, the funnel hacking thing, the event that they've got? Like I think it started yesterday on Wednesday.
Yeah, funnel hacking
but-
live. So they don't broadcast it. I don't know if they sold virtual tickets this year. I don't think they did.
I'll go check it out. I'll go check it out right
Yeah,
after.
but
After
that's
this.
something definitely next year is something I want to go to.
Oh
A
man,
lot
that's
of
the thing,
these
and that's the thing too
conferences.
with everybody with regrets. Like even for me, I'm looking at all these events, and now that work in the business, like the software world, I'm seeing all these events like SaaS World and like all the Adventureland and all these cool things. I'm like, yeah, I got to be there. You know,
Yep.
so
Yep.
it's kind of cool to kind of see those things. So with everybody, I can't thank everybody enough for coming out today, spending the week with us. We've given them some pretty valuable information. It's Dan has had some amazing guests, Data Day, we've had Glenn, and then we had the amazing Monday in person. So this week has been a little bit of a different feel, but
It's been a stellar week.
Oh, it's been a stellar week, brother.
Yeah.
I've thoroughly loved this week. It just honestly today feels like it's like a Wednesday for me. Like it's so
Yeah.
like so fast and stuff like that. So tune in tomorrow. Book Club Fridays.
Chapter
We
9.
got- Yeah, chapter 9. We're coming to the end, man. Man, I'm gonna be so sad when we're finished. And I know we're gonna get into we'll get into what the audience wants to get into, or I know Dan, you'll pick the book for next time. But I'm loving this series. I think there's just so much value and so much learning that we're doing.
I got quite a few books that I'm dying to get into. But we'll take it from there.
There you go.